bag to put ice cubes in. Hopefully people will find it. Anybody there yet? Hi, TM. I'm looking for bags to put ice in so that I can use ice on my phone because it overheated. Maybe I'll just put some in a glass. All right, TM's here. TM, can you comment on the other one that I started a new one, please? And I'm going to get some ice so that my phone doesn't overheat. All right. Hopefully people come on over here. Sorry about that. I didn't realize my phone was going to overheat. All right. Hi, Erica. I'm getting some ice in a glass so that I can put my phone up against it because my phone overheated. Sorry about that. Thank you, Verna. And Dawn says, I found you. Good. My phone got too hot. So, I don't even remember what we were talking about. I wish this glass was not shaped the way it is. All right, I'm holding you guys and a glass of ice water. Oh, we'll see how long this lasts. It just needs to cool down. So I don't remember what I was discussing. I was answering somebody's question, but hopefully people are coming over. It's okay. Oh, my dad's peach tree. Thank you. Yeah, so the peach tree is doing, we didn't know it was a peach tree for a long time. One year it had peaches. Just all of a sudden it had peaches. And so probably got spit out by a pit, somebody just went and it planted itself. And what happened with that then is I remember my mom made peach jam and peach syrup. I remember she did that. I only remember that happening once. So if my dad's on here, maybe he can correct me. But I think she only did that once. But that's the only canning I remember my mom doing. Like, I think that's all she's done. Maybe? I don't know. And yeah, and one year they were super small. Like, up until I think fairly recently, well, maybe not fairly recently, just, at least in the beginning, they didn't thin the tree. So, thanks, Brenna. And so one year it was super, super small. There were super, super small fruits. And it was so interesting because my mom sent me an egg carton of peaches. Yeah. So an egg carton of peaches was pretty interesting. They were good. They were good. Hi, Dawn. PJ's here. Awesome. And yeah, so that's what happened with the peach tree. I'm going to put the glass of ice water down. Hopefully we're cooled off enough. I might pick it up every once in a while and do that. There we go. It was just after I said it was hot in here, huh? It's not actually that hot. I think it's like 73 inside, but yeah. We'll remember to pick it up every once in a while. I wish there was an ice pack in the freezer. That would be better because I could set it on it, huh? Anyway, so yeah, hopefully my dad found this link. But yeah, so he said that it died and it's sprouting from below though. I don't know if it's sprouting from the roots or sprouting from down on the stump, but yeah. Berta says your dad said perhaps it got too cold there and froze. Probably not. I mean, it's been well below zero there. I mean, I remember there was a whole week below zero, like didn't get above zero in the daytime even, and it survived that at a younger age. The storm you've been having have been lame, Ed? Oh boy. Well, I mean, that's better than not having a house, right? Hey, Vicky's here. Hello from Sacramento Valley. My cucumbers, tomatoes, and zucchinis are growing fruit. Awesome. Yeah, I have on the Mexican gray squash. They're about that big, so they're growing. They're growing. What? My phone overheated? Oh, got it. Got it. Yeah, Dawn says my peach tree lived about 10 years and gets sub-zero every winter. Yeah, peaches do well. Peaches definitely do well. I'm just gonna give, so I know Vicky just joined. I don't know if anybody else just joined, but I have to give my phone some ice water. I'm just gonna do this every once in a while so it doesn't overheat again, because that's what happened. That's why I lost you guys the first time. Oh boy. Oh, you have comfrey cuttings can plant too. I do too. I got a package as well, and I need to do that. I think I'm going to start them in pots, and that will be the best start for them in my area. I think. Yeah. So Vicky, your zucchinis are the same size. This is what I have. Yeah. TM says I had a peach tree that volunteered in a bad spot, but I moved it. Wish it luck. Good luck. When did you move it? What season? Because if you moved it in winter or when it didn't have leaves yet or buds, then it probably is going to do great. If you move it in summer, it's going to be a chance that it was enough, and chance it is okay. I moved a peach tree years ago with my neighbors. One of my neighbors, that makes sense. Her neighbor wanted to put in a fence, and this peach tree would have been obliterated. So there's 4 of us. We dug it out, had quite a root ball, and we picked it up and put it in those little red wagons, like the little was it flyer? Red flyer wagons. We put it in there, and we're stabilizing it and put it across the street to another neighbor's house and planted it. And this was it was in flower with leaves starting to come out, and we cut off a bunch of it. Like the whole neighborhood got branches of flowers, and to put it in vases. And it survives. It's still alive. It's still alive today. So yeah. So it should be good, hopefully. Ed says, since I moved to Virginia Beach in 1976, I can only remember 3 tornadoes here, and 1 straight line wind event. Awesome. Okay. PJ says I'll plant them next to the elephant garlic volunteer. There you go. There you go. Oh. CM says, no, I didn't move it. I moved. Oh, you moved. Well, TM, you could take it with you. All right. Radio flyer wagon. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so it was really kind of quite the scene, because I don't remember who was doing the wagon, but one person was pulling on the wagon, and the rest of us were around like holding on to different parts of the trunk and all that. And we all were just like, this is last ditch effort. It's a really good variety. O. Henry was a variety, still is, because it's still alive. But O. Henry's the variety, and it's a really good variety. But we were really, really doubtful that it would make it, and it did. It made it. So that is awesome. It can be done. So TM, even though I misread your comment, I told you a good story. There you go. Vicky says, I suddenly have 2 20-foot long garden beds and 3rd coming soon. Combined with retirement, I am all in on planting what I will eat or process into jars. New future beds means onions, garlic, and cabbage. Awesome. Vicky, congratulations. Congratulations. Sweet potatoes would be a good addition. Or potatoes. Yeah. Yeah. TM says, I'm waiting to see Verna's fig tree. You know, this year the figs just went crazy at my house. They put on so much growth. Both the established ones and the ones that I started from cutting. So if you want to start figs from cutting in the wintertime, or sometimes when it doesn't have leaves on it, take a cutting and just stick it in the ground somewhere where it gets water, and it will grow. As long as it doesn't rot, it will grow. And it's very, very neat to see that. And it took several years, but this year was the year for the figs. They just shot up. Yeah. Yeah, Verna has sweet potato and white potatoes in her green stalks, which I think is really, really awesome. Vicky says, I have 3 sweet potatoes planted. 3 kinds or 3 potatoes? You need more. Oh. Ed says, how are the silver quail jewelry holding up? Holding up good. Holding up good. I don't wear jewelry that often, but it is holding up good for what I wear it for. Yeah. Ed makes jewelry. He makes really, really cool jewelry, and teaches how and all that. So it's awesome. Very awesome. Verna says, oh, so the one that he's talking about is actually, I mailed him parts. So one of the feet he did, and it's like this formed, and it's holding a little, I'm going to call it a marble. It's called something else, Ed, right? But it's a little marble, and silver. So the foot is silver plated, and it's my bird's foot, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool to have that. And he does all sorts of stuff, wishbones and what else? A whole bunch of stuff. Ed is like the most creative person I know. Yeah. Verna says, TM, the fig tree died because of root bound. The taproot went around and around. That's why it died. Oh. Yeah, that sucks. Dawn says, I just realized after I get 2 new legs, I can start canning. That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm so impressed with your progress, Dawn. Dawn is doing some really awesome physical therapy that is helping her a lot. It's awesome. Did I say it's awesome yet? Vicky says, great job, Verna. Will you be canning or freeze drying what you cannot store? She's a freeze dryer. That's what I think she's going to answer. Hate to hear that. What are we hearing? Oh, yeah, the fig. Yeah. Yeah, figs, if they're in the right place, they will just grow, grow, grow. If they are in too wet a place, or if the roots have issues, then they get affected. Yeah. Yeah, Verna says his wishbone earrings are great. That is Ed. She has some of those, and that's awesome. Yeah, freeze drying. Exactly. That's what I thought you were going to say. Vicky says, my raised beds are so intensely planted. I'm lucky to have planted 3 sweet potato slips. All right. Well, hey, if you plant them and don't harvest them, then they will grow and give you more to plant next year. You could do it that way. Yeah. Oh, Ed, you made that decision? Ed says, I will not be at Quail and Homesteading Con, but I will be sending stuff to Verna to sell for me. And I am sorry to hear that. I know that you were talking about that. I'll be there. Like I said, I think we should give you. I think you should give someone like a tablet, and you should call in, so that you can be involved. Because I think that would be at least better than not going. That's my opinion, Ed. You have time. You have time to invent some things. You're creative enough to do it. Vicky says, awesome, Dawn. Are you in California? She is not in California. She is in the Midwest. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Verna planted 16 sweet potato slips. You also grew those slips, right, Verna? was it from a grocery store sweet potato? Yeah. So those people that are growing sweet potatoes, the greens are edible for you and they're edible for your animals. So they're really awesome. I have a video about my favorite way to cook them on my YouTube channel. But there's several different ways you can cook them. I actually dehydrated a bunch several years ago, and I keep forgetting about them. But my idea was to add them to soups, and I have forgotten to do that. So there you go. Yeah, yep. Ed says, awesome, Dawn. Can you send me a new set, please? She's working for hers. She's working for hers, Ed. Yeah, Dawn's in South Central Illinois. Exactly, having to work your butt off to qualify for surgery. You're doing great. You're doing great. Ed says, everyone have fun for me. I am saddened. I had so much fun last year, enjoyed meeting everyone and playing games at our hotel. I spent the evening with Ed and Wendy, his wife, and we played games. We did a live chat from there, on the spot live. That was the first time I realized I could do a live from my phone. And yeah, it's great. It was a great time. I'm glad that we had that time. And I hope you come again another year. Yeah. Vicky says, Katrina, will you be doing any pressure canning or water bath canning this year on your channel? New ways to preserve healthy vegetables and fruits is needed. I have to use YouTube as nobody near me. Yeah, I definitely will be doing that. I pressure can and I water bath can. And a really, really good website to follow is the National Center for, I can't type. I don't know. Can I type on this? This is on my phone. Can I? Is this it? No, that's not it. Okay, I'm patient. Nope, that's not it. I'm not going to keep pushing buttons because I don't know what they do on the phone. So National Center for Home Food Preservation. Something like that. Did I just say that right? Anyway, I know Verna's having issues with her computer. Well, maybe you do that. Maybe you can find the link, Verna, the National Center for Home Food Preservation. That has everything canning related. And what I follow definitely stuff that has been tested. And there's a way, so I think having a good background to understand why the rules are the way the rules are is a good thing. And I actually have an intro to canning playlist. And I think, thank you, Brenna. I think if you're starting out with canning, I would watch that because I go into a lot of detail in there. There's like, I think 4 or 5 videos that goes through water, the safety, the supplies, water bath, and I think I have 2 on pressure cooking or pressure canning, not cooking. So I would definitely follow that. I do not use, nor do I recommend using an electric pressure canner for the sole purpose of you have no idea what the pressure actually is. Think of how many times you have to update your phone. Think of how many times you have to update anything electronic. And for me, that safety, thank you, Verna, that safety is imperative. And so I don't do that. Other people do. And then I also recommend whenever you are going to do something, even if you know how to do it, look up on the National Center for Home Food Preservation to see if there's been any changes. So the National Center for Home Food Preservation has recipes on there, right? And I would start with whatever they have. And once you understand acidity and once you understand, acidity for water bathing. Once you understand that, you can change things a little as long as your acidity stays the same. And then once you understand the pressure and how that works, you can start mixing things, and you go on the higher pressure of what's in there. So they have things that way for a reason, and that reason is safety. Not everything has been tested. So that is something that if it's not in there, it either, one, is dangerous, or two, has not been tested. So like pickled eggs should not be canned in any fashion, home canned. So the amount of pressure that we can achieve as home canners is not enough to reach the center of so everything could reach the center of the egg to know that we kill off everything. And so that's the reasoning for that, because botulism has happened in pickled eggs. So that's why home pickled eggs should always be refrigerated. And there are many, many people who don't do that. If you're canning in your own home kitchen and you choose to do something that goes against what science tells you, there's a reason to not do that or to do it this way, or, make sure everybody you give it to knows that it is not an accepted method, because there is a risk of death from botulism, and there is a risk of, getting sick and dying. So I just would like to not have that happen. So yeah, that is my warning. I don't know, was I on a soapbox there, guys? Okay. Let's see what you guys said. Erica says, Verna sent a bunny home with me and some sweet potato slips. Bunny munched a couple of leaves on the way home. That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm so happy that you have a little bunny friend for your bunny. TM says, I have been watching a Rebel canner on YouTube. You have to be very careful, because, so here's my thing. If you see me canning, you should check me. I hope that you guys trust me. It's good to have 3 sources that you trust. One of them in this case should be the National Center for Home Food Preservation. They do have a book that you can buy, but the updates, of course, don't go directly to your book. I like to have a hard copy, because if the internet's down, if the power is out, whatever, you can still do that, and you know what the things are. And it's not very expensive. It's only, sorry, I'm icing my phone. It's only as expensive as the pages are. Like, they're not gouging you or anything, but I think it's worth it. Or you can download the PDF for free and print it out yourself. I think it's better in a book, personally. But just because someone does it on YouTube doesn't mean that they're an expert in it, and that includes me. I try to tell you guys when I'm doing something for the first time, or doing something and say, oh, I can do it this way or that way, let's do it this way. I try and be pretty transparent. There are a lot of people out there that don't. There are a lot of people out there who dry can potatoes. Very dangerous. Only dangerous if you get sick and die, right? But there's reasons why there's rules, and that can be a very dangerous thing. Dry canning stuff in the oven, your glass jars are not, they're not meant for dry heat. They're meant for wet heat, and that's what they're built for. And you're not evacuating the air from the jars when you do it in the oven. So those are things to avoid in my mind. But yeah, definitely, I mean, don't trust one person for canning. Definitely look at the National Center for Home Food Preservation, and check out a couple different channels. I have lots of canning videos on my channel. I have a playlist called Food Preservation, and there's a lot of that on there. Another channel I would check out for canning specifically is called Sutton's Days, and she does a lot of really, really good canning stuff. She is more on the prepper side of things than I am. So be aware of that when you watch her channel, but she will tell you good information on food preservation. So that would be someone I would trust. So yeah, anyway, I went off on a tangent, man. Let's see, what else you guys saying? I zoomed up, so Erica's gonna plant the slips tomorrow. Dawn says, oh, I have to do PT at 9 a.m. and then more at 11. Oh my gosh. Everyone has a great night, and Katrina, safe travels tomorrow. Thank you, and good luck, Dawn. Good luck and good night. Sounds like, Dawn, it's a date, you know? More important than a date, right? Everybody saying good night. All right. Oh, okay. Verna says, whenever you read about food safety and home pickled eggs, you can come across a reference to the one known case of botulism caused by home pickled eggs. One case isn't very many in light of the estimated 2,600 deaths a year caused by foodborne illness. So yeah, I mean, and it might be just one, but it is one. And there may be more. I don't remember. I read through that stuff a long time ago. And to me, it just makes sense to not risk that. So, like I said, if you're doing it not in accordance with those rules, I would tell someone. If you are rebel canning, I would tell someone that you're doing that. Like if you are offering them food that has been rebel canned, I believe it's a personal responsibility to let them know, hey, this is what I did. So, and have them make their own decision. PJ says, oh, Verna, what breed are your rabbits? They're Havana. Julie wants to start rabbits, and I want her to research and learn how to care for them. Awesome. Yeah, Verna raises Havanas. They're smaller. Yeah, TM says she does a lot of Amish canning. I watch it, but don't exactly trust the method. And I'm not saying that just because the National Center for Home Food Preservation doesn't have it, I'm not saying that is not a safe way. I'm saying it hasn't been tested. And for me and my comfort level, I want things to be tested. I mean, I have a freeze dryer now that I know I can freeze dry a lot of things that can be canned, or maybe a lot of things that can't be canned or shouldn't be canned, and you can freeze dry them instead. And so I think that's a really good thing to do. Yeah, there's the thing about canning is it is a science, and just because your grandma did it doesn't mean it's safe to do now. There was probably a lot more sickness in foodborne sickness before that wasn't attributed to food than there is now, because that's why these systems update. You know, pressure canners or pressure cookers, even pressure cookers in the old days were very unsafe, and they would explode in the kitchen from time to time. Pressure cookers these days are very safe. So if you find an old pressure canner or an old pressure cooker, I wouldn't even buy it. You know, oh, it's $5. Well, if it's going to blow up your kitchen, no. You know, if it has the more modern safety features, then go for it. So that's personal opinion. Yeah. Yep, Havana rabbits. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, TM. Yeah, water bath canning. And there's a lot of different food preservations that are around the world. There's a lot of things around the world, and you know, food has been preserved for many, many years. Canning is actually, it hasn't been around that long as far as food preservation. Food preservation typically has been drying and salting historically, and it's only fairly recent history that we've been putting food in jars. Yeah. Yeah. PJ, oh, Verna says, PJ, they are considered one of the friendliest rabbit breeds. Yeah, Verna was telling me about them today, the Havanas. It's pretty cool. Yeah, needs to learn to process rabbits too. I have not done a processing video for various reasons. For, I don't want to get dinged from YouTube and all that. But yeah, so I haven't done one yet, but it's very similar to quail once you get in. Well, not really. I don't know. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. Because there's different ways to do it. But I use a hopper popper. There you go. You can look up that and see them do videos, because they have some videos of doing that. And I do the same thing. About 1800s, thanks to Napoleon. I think there was something with Napoleon. I don't remember. Yeah. Perhaps you can get some videos this week of processing rabbits. Are you processing rabbits this week, Verna? I already processed the rabbits. They are all the way through the freeze dryer. You guys you will get to see me put some of them on a freeze drying tray while I talk to you tomorrow, though. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, if you want like actual full videos of how I do it, I would just look up hopper popper, because I do it that way. And I mean, there's a little bit of skill around the ankles, getting the pelt around the ankles, but that's how I do it. So I would look up their videos. They have literally like 2 videos on their YouTube, and they actually closed. But you can totally make that. I mean, if you know anybody that works with metal, they can make you that. Yeah. Okay, so Verna says, tomorrow you'll have help processing them. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I did not know that, Ed. Boston Marathon bomber used pressure cookers as bombs. Yeah, the old ones especially. I mean, you read about it, and I mean, people died from these things. They were very dangerous, potentially, Yeah. Yeah, that's right, TM. He had a contest to store food for his troops, the Napoleon. I remember there was, it was familiar to me when you said that, but I didn't remember why. Yeah. Okay, CB and her significant other is going to help. Awesome. Yeah, 8 to process. That'll be a day. That'll be a good time. Well, maybe not a good time for the rabbits, but you guys will get together and at least enjoy each other's company. Yeah. Oh, Erica, am I boring? Good night, Erica. Good night. Ducky's here. Welcome, Ducky. We got California's for Easter for meat rabbits, but I don't know if I can do it. Ducky, have you processed any animals? I guess I should start with that. Have you processed any animals? And again, my phone has been overheating apparently, so I do have a glass of ice water for it. And so we're going to do that here for a little bit. Deer. If you've done deer, it's basically getting over the cute and cuddly. And once you've gotten over that, you'll be fine. And you don't have to get over it. You can say, I am growing food that is good for me, that is good and tasty and was happy during its life, and get a, Ed, I'm not at home. They don't have bags here. I'm doing what I can. I looked for bags. Maybe they're bags somewhere. Anyway, nobody's here. It's just me. Anyway, so yeah, choose your processing method. Like I said, I use a hopper popper. So Californian and Black New Zealand's are the crosses that I have. So it's the same size rabbit as what you have. And I use a hopper popper. I would also at some point want to try the choke chain method because it's very similar. The goal is very similar. You can always shoot if you want to, and there's a broomstick method. So look up those methods, and if you've done deer, you can do rabbit. Yeah. Ed, you don't like my method, huh? It's what I can do. Look. I'm creative. Give me points. Oh. Yeah. So is anybody a first-time canner? I think Vicki said you're fairly new. Is anybody else a first-time canner? Because we should talk about that now before things get growing. You're welcome, Ducky. Yeah, if you're a first-time canner, or if you're thinking about it, something I would do is, one, you have to know your elevation. So are you below 1,000 feet? Are you above 1,000 feet? Are you, what are the divisions? I think it's below 1,000 feet, between 1,000 and 5,000? And over 5,000? I don't remember. It's in the book. But that, know what elevation you are, so you know what pressure to use or what time to use. And the National Center for Home Food Preservation will tell you that. And with that, if you're brand new, go ahead, just to get familiar with it before your crops come in, can some water. Can some water, and you will get familiar with the process. Pretend like it's jam. I mean, don't put the sugar gel in, but you can if you want water flavored jelly. That would be a good April Fool's joke. Water flavored jelly. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, pretend like you're making jam. Pretend like you're making, some chicken. If you have a pressure cooker and pressure canner are different. It's something to know. But pretend like you are doing that. Go through the steps as if you have something in there that's other than water. And when you are ready to can it, go ahead and can the water. You'll end up with sterile water. That's what you'll end up with. So if you have a medical emergency and you need some clean water, or let's say your area gets hit by a storm and you don't have water, you're going to have water. Another thing to do, especially in your pressure canner, if you only have so many jars and you have empty spots, put some water in there. And if you don't want to actually pressure can the water, put a jar in there with water in it, fill it up, because that will make it work more efficiently. But if you want to put the lid on and everything, you will just make sterile water. And I mean, if you're in an emergency, you have some sterile water you can just grab. And then if you need more jars, you just take it and drink it, or take it and dump it out and water the plants or whatever. So that's something I recommend you do now, before the crop comes in, is to practice with water. And it sounds really silly, but if you are uncomfortable or unsure at all in the process, you'll get really comfortable really quick if you just do it once and there isn't any risk of, spoiling food. Yeah. All right. TM says, that's my problem with quail. I kind of think I would want to pluck them, but I will probably skin. I started out plucking. I got a drill attachment plucker, and it works. It works. If you go that route, get a variable speed drill, and it's a plucker specifically for quail. If you get a plucker for chickens, it's going to be ripping through everything. So don't do that. The fingers on them are much smaller. And so if you're going to do that, you want to dip them in, so scald them. And I don't remember the degrees of water, but you dip them in, hot water for like 30 seconds or 40 seconds, something like that. Take them out, and then you can use that. Or you can just pluck them too. If you use the drill attachment one, it's going to get feathers everywhere. So just understand that and be okay with it. or put down a very big tarp. So that's my recommendation. I started with that, and if you're only doing a few at a time, it's fine. If you're not doing a few at a time, you're doing a bunch at a time, I would either get the drum plucker, like the big one, or skin them. Skinning them is so much faster, and for what I'm doing, it doesn't really make sense to, pluck them. So for personal use. There you go. PJ says, I have a canner for many, many years, have always been afraid to can. A water bath or pressure? Because you can can, even if you don't have a water bath canner, if you have a stock pot, you have a canner. You have a water bath canner if you have a stock pot. As long as you can have 1 to 2 inches of water above the jar, then you have a water bath canner. So the only thing with that is it doesn't come with a rack. So just put something on the bottom so the jars don't go like this and break. I've only had that happen once. I wasn't using that I wasn't using anything on the bottom for years. And then one time, like a thing of pickles burst in there. So before I got a water bath canner, which just fits more, it has a special bottom on it and all that prevents all this. But if you put a washcloth in there, it's super annoying to get all the things in there because it's going to want to float. But that will do the same thing as a rack. So yeah, do it. And PJ says, lilac jelly was so good. Awesome. Awesome. TM says, keep your book and go buy it. I don't know what that means. Use UPick and Farmer's Market. I don't know what you mean by book. Oh, keep to the book. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Just do it. Can water. PJ, that's your assignment. Can water. Maybe we should do that one of the Cook With Me lives. I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe when there are more people on there. Yeah, you can do it. TM, too bad you can't freeze dry water. TM, you can. And I have seen videos on that twice. One was a joke by Homestead and Family. 2 was actually by, what's the name now? Live Life Simple. He used to be retired at 40. So he actually did a study where they looked at the solid. So there are solids in your water. You had no clue that I was going to go this way, did you? You're just instigating all sorts of conversation here, TM. There are solids in your water. There's minerals. There's different things in your water. Water is not just H2O, H's and O's. There's other things in here. And now they're in me. And so there is actually solids that come out of the water. And so he actually did a study where he freeze dried the water, and he did that and sent in the solids of that, and freeze dried. Wait, did he do that? I don't remember. He freeze dried soil or compost soil. I don't remember. He freeze dried that and sent in a fresh sample, a freeze dried sample, and the water that came out of the freeze dryer, and to see what all the different microbes and stuff like that was. And you guys should watch that video. It's pretty cool. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, Live Life Simple. It was a few months ago, I think. Anyway, if you're interested. Water bath, PJ. Did you water bath Ken your lilac jelly? PJ, it's so easy. So easy. Just follow the National Center for Home Food Preservation. Or maybe in July. I don't know. Erica, do you... Eric and Erica and PJ, I think, are who on here. I don't know if Eric found this one. But Erica was falling asleep, so I guess I can't ask her. Maybe we'll do that for July. Maybe we'll water bath something. Yeah. Yeah, Ed says get the drum plucker for quail, not for chickens. Yeah, exactly. The fingers for the chickens are too big. It'll rip them up. Yeah, afraid of botulism. Of course. The key with water bath canning is to have enough acidity. So if you have enough acidity, then you're fine. If you follow the back of a pectin thing that you get in the store, you know, they're either yellow package or a pink package for pectin, and you follow that, and it has the lemon juice, the amount of lemon juice and the amount of all that, then you'll be good. And so botulism does not survive one of two things. One is acidity. So if it's too acidic for it to live, it won't live. Three things. Two is salt. So if you're lacto fermentation, so lacto fermentation is lactobacillus? Lacto something, bacteria, they thrive in the salt environment. So if it's too acidy, oh my gosh, I said that so weird. If it's too acidic, if it's too salty, or if it's too much pressure. And so those are your three ways to get rid of botulism, if it even exists in your food to begin with. So again, sterile environment, clean the jars, clean everything, wash the outsides of the peels before you cut into them. This is why we're peeling potatoes and peeling your carrots, is because of botulism. Botulism can be found in the soil. So that's why you peel potatoes and peel carrots and peel whatever root vegetables there are before you can them. And then the other one is moisture free. So freeze drying immediately, if there's no moisture, botulism can't live. So in thought, that's simple. And in doing so, it's actually pretty simple. So if you freeze dry anything, it's not going to have botulism in it as long as you get the water out, right? If you have it acidic enough, if you have it salty enough, and if you have it enough pressure, then it won't be able to live. So that's why I'm saying follow the National Center for Home Food Preservation in those things. So I don't know what they have on fermentation, because I actually haven't. I've only done one lacto fermentation. There's different kinds of fermentation. And it was just way too salty for me. So I didn't do it anymore. But yeah, that's why refrigerator pickles are acidic. So the acid, that's why you get 5% vinegar. That's why you use bottled lemon juice. For a long time, I didn't realize why you needed bottled lemon juice. And I was using, regular lemons in the very beginning, which could potentially have been dangerous. And the reason why you use bottled lemon juice is because it has a guaranteed pH. And so when you have that acidity, same thing with vinegar, you have at least 5% acidity. Not all vinegar is 5%, especially if it's apple cider vinegar, especially if it's organic apple cider vinegar, it does not guarantee 5%. So you want to make sure of those things. And once you understand the rules around it, it actually becomes pretty easy to follow. And that's I think that's something that is very scary, because botulism is highly deadly. I think mostly because it's not caught right away as that, and also because it's dangerous. But I don't know. Let me know if you feel better about it. And yeah, there we go. And again, if you are concerned about these things, following the National Center for Home Food Preservation is the way to go. And I would not rebel can. If you see rebel canning on there, that means they're not following the rules. And that means it could be dangerous. So anyway, Verna says, PJ, you can do it. Once you do it, your fear will end. Just follow the instructions on the ball canning book. If you're using a ball canning book, use newer ones. So there are some recipes in older books. And again, I have a playlist, so maybe start there. Start with a playlist, because I go through all of that in the playlist for Intro to Canning. And start with that. go through it. If you have questions, we can talk about that. And it's kind of a just do it situation. And if you start with water and you go through it with water, it's not wasting anything. I mean, you may waste a lid if you're using the metal lids. I use reusable lids. I use Harvest Guard. Harvest Guard and Tatler are very similar, I believe, and then that they're reusable. The metal lids are not reusable. They're not supposed to be reusable. I have used them before I knew better. And really, you can use them as long as they're sealing. However, they have a shorter shelf life once they've been used, right? And if they're bent, then they don't seal right. And so there's some concerns. So you're not supposed to use them. Yeah, so the canning books, make sure, so Ball is a good one. Ball has their own testing. So they have testing outside of the USDA, which is who runs the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So their recipes are good and tested, and I mean, they're pretty rigorous. Just make sure it's not an old book. You know, if you're getting something at a thrift store or you're getting something at an estate sale, look at the date. You can look at that recipe and then look it up. You know, they have online recipes as well. So Ball is good, and National Center for Home Food Preservation. Just because something's in a book, I would say, besides Ball and you know them, they're actually good. But just because someone published something in a book doesn't mean it's true. I mean, we had a conversation, was it last year, about AI writing homesteading books? You know, people using AI to write homesteading books and giving advice on edible mushrooms that weren't true and all that. So you have to be pretty careful. Anyway, there you go. Ed's laughing. LOL, you can freeze dry water. It's just hard to see when you're finished. PJ says my brother cans all the time. There you go. Yeah, TM says sometimes we had to boil our water. So if you're in an area that you're not going to move from, right? If you're in an area that you're like, hey, this is where I am. I have my pantry. I'm going to be storing up stuff. Can water. And you can can water in a water bath. You're going to have sterile water. It's going to be good for a really, really long time. And you can put it on your shelf. If you need the jar, let's say you run out of jars, right? If you need the jar, you can open it and drink your water or make pasta or, you know, water a plant. So, yeah. PJ says, nope. Put jars and froze. So if you water, so here's a reason not to can and to freeze instead and do all that, is the more you cook a product, the less nutrition it has. No, I don't know with a lilac jelly if you are concerned about nutrition. I'm not sure how much nutrition is in it. There's sugar in it, I'll tell you that, right? Yeah. Yep, and make sure it seals. The other thing that's in old canning books is they want you to take your jar after it's, you know, after you pick it out and turn it upside down. That's not the right way to do it. So that was common practice, and now it is not. And there are reasons for that. And there you go. There you go. Oh, Verna says, Katrina, I spent a couple minutes looking for that video as I saw it too. Can't find it. Yeah, it's on Live Life Simple. I don't remember what he named it. Soil, maybe, is in the title. I don't know. It was maybe it was more than a few months ago. But yeah. Verna says, or pour it in a pot so you can. Yeah, exactly. So if you have water that you canned and you need the jar, put it in the pot that you can can it in. That's a good idea, Verna. Ed says, I just have a 400-gallon military water tank to keep water in emergencies. Just, huh? That's good. Wasn't it over a year ago? Verna, time flies. Time flies. Okay, TM, what a good idea. So apparently we're going for canning. That is tonight's video. What about leaving the rings on or taking the rings off for your canning? So, rings off. the ring is a tool. It's only a tool. What the ring does is it keeps the lid on tight enough so that things don't go out while there's two things happening. The air in the jar evacuates. So the air in the jar evacuates and the lid is suctioned down and seals. So you want it to be, again, I have several canning videos and I show you how to put the lid on. If you put it on too tight, it can't evacuate that air and you're going to have a seal failure. If you have too high a pressure, or then it might siphon out your ingredients as well. So like there's things you have to know. But that ring should be on your jar